Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
The Enterprise is caught with her shields down. It's a surprise attack by the Gorn. Spock says don't do the thing, but Pike totally does the thing. Uhura and Hemmer team up against the evil AP-350, and we couldn't pronounce Luan's name correctly for all the Tribbles in the world.
Wait, nobody's answering. What the hell's going on? Dots won't answer. Heather, Patrick, Rocky. I can't help it if we're supposed to have a field day and clean the entire ship, but nobody's moving. Dot, I know you're working because I see your power light on. Why is nobody? All right, I'm going to have to just do this the old-fashioned way. Computer, red alert.
Have they boarded the ship, Captain?
Now you guys answer.
Somebody hit the red alert.
We were playing dead from the Gorn.
What the hell's going on?
We were playing dead to hide from the Gorn.
I'm still playing
Oh, yeah,
dead.
I'm sorry. Psst, we're dead over here.
No, there's no Gorn on this ship.
Well, aren't you guys dead from the neck up anyway?
Oh, my God. Why did you guys even... Okay, Dot, you can move now. Yes, I know you guys are trying to pretend to be dead. We are not in Gorn space, nor we are running out over there. So don't even worry about it. And, of course, this is being broadcast out. Dang it. Okay, first off, if you are listening and you're under the age of 18, you really shouldn't. So you need to really disconnect and wait until after your 18th birthday. Then you can come back and listen to the show. Other than that, no. 2, we have a full crew complement, which luckily I do have a full complement because I thought that everyone was dead or passed out or something. We have our science officer.
I'm still dead.
No.
Oh, right. Sorry. I guess they're gone. Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. I swear to God, I'm not dead.
Yeah, and then when I went over to Patrick earlier...
Well, she only looks like
Well,
it.
I mean...
The only thing that Patrick did that made me think he might be alive is like, he was like, don't bury me. I'm not dead yet. So, Patrick?
I'm Patrick. I'm number 1. I'm the foreign species liaison, except for the Gorn, and number 1.
And my chief engineer, who realistically draped over the barrier over there near the warp core engine and looked like he was totally out except for his pants was halfway down, which thankfully...
Oh, shit.
Ooh la la.
I didn't realize that was down. I had to zip that right up.
The Gorn were trying to penetrate.
Oh, my.
They wanted to see your planet, Uranus.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky, and I'm dead at the response to this situation. What am I supposed to say here? I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and our ship, and playing dead is not my strong suit.
You must not, you shall not pass, is what you're supposed to say to the Gorn when they have you bent over.
I've never been bent over in front of a Gorn.
Crossing streams.
The Gorn wasn't here. It was 007 doing that slee slack noise.
Slee stack.
The clicking noise?
Yeah.
That's a gear. You needed a little bit of oil to get that gear not to click.
Man, I still get the shivers from that.
Well,
And it's
like
slee stack, not slee slacks.
Well, like I said, it was a slee slacks. Is that right?
I'm gonna tell
even
Wesley
last
Ewer that you
week while
said that
you-
next time you see him at the convention. And Kathy Coleman.
You know, even last week when you were in medical because of that light disease, you were correcting me over the console. So,
well, when you're stupid, I can't help it.
Oh. Ooh.
okay, fitness report. Fitness report entry for Patrick Hall. Disrespect of a senior officer. Okay.
Does anybody actually read those reports?
No.
Yeah, eventually. But right now, wait, what the hell happened? I didn't mean to overwrite that part of the file. Well, that's okay. It won't matter.
What part? What did you overwrite?
His commendation.
Oops.
For the last thing he did. So there's that. Well, first off, this show is being brought to you by Section 31 as well as our Patreon. Thanks so much. You guys are really doing well with the Patreon. You've been members for a long time, so we really do appreciate it. And also all of our listeners, if you're back again, thank you for coming back. It is indeed awesome.
We really appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
Everything's awesome.
Virtual hugs to everybody.
And Patrick appreciated I don't know who it was that sent you the nudes, Pat, but I heard you appreciated it. Corrections.
You kept them, so I don't know. I never got them.
Also, too, this podcast is not meant for kids. So if you are a kid, do not listen to this podcast.
No. And also for those of you that want to try to send any of my female members aboard the ship, we installed a hot dog filter. So anything even remotely resembling a hot dog will never get through.
Your member's female?
Finally.
Yeah. And
And
really
also,
funny
I
when you
wanted to
hear
order
work.
hot dogs, and I can't get an order of hot dogs now. What's up with that?
No.
I said
And it's
replicator
really-
hot dog warm, and it said, but that's not a hot dog.
Yeah, hot dog free zone.
Sounds like my life.
That's all I got was buns.
And it's funny because every time that we get the email, the computer goes like, not a hot dog, not a hot dog, not a hot dog, ban. And it's done. So
I like big
really
buns
good.
and I cannot lie. These other brothers can't deny.
However, one did get through that I caught before it got to you because it didn't resemble a hot dog. It resembled an angry mushroom. So it passed
But
the
that was
filter.
like Mario Kart or something, right?
Yeah, it was kind of really messed up. Hey, Pat, do we have any corrections?
Let me check subspace here just a second. Dun, 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 dun. And I mean, unless the subspace beacons are down, we're clear.
Another flawless podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get to the point where we try to educate everyone on what's going on in the great galaxy of ours. News-wise, what do you got for us, Heather?
Hi, Captain. So this week, the news is kind of Star Trek related. If you like Star Trek, you probably like the Orville. And the Orville Season 3 has dropped a new trailer, so go check that out. And it will air on Hulu on June 2nd. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Season 3.
It looks really good. The trailer, it looks really good.
And Seth does such an amazing job with that. He really got the Star Trek feeling in there. When I watch Orville, I feel like I'm watching Star Trek, but it's everything about Star Trek that I wanted to see that I've never seen before. For example, when they synthesized the pop brownie because they were going to visit his parents. I mean, it's that kind of shit where I'm just laughing my ass off.
He really does do a good job. So I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. How about you, Pat? What do you got for us?
Well, normally there's like two conventions in Europe. There's Destination Star Trek London and Destination Star Trek Germany. But at the last minute, Destination Star Trek London has been canceled. And they are now moving. Destination Star Trek Germany will take place the 23rd through the 25th of September and will be the one official European Star Trek event in 2022. But they do look forward to doing more Star Trek events in the future in the UK. But they just figured that, with the state of trying to do conventions right now and, in-person gatherings and COVID and whatever, they, rather than doing two events, just weeks apart, they just wanted to focus on doing one and making it better than all.
Two countries, one event.
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So it'll come back to London, but right now the only one for this year is in Germany. Are we going to go?
So I guess that's going to be really crowded because everybody who wants to go, will probably run down over there to the Fatherland and see.
Is it easy to go from, when you're going to London instead deciding to divert to Germany?
I want to go.
You
I
gotta
want
get
to go.
across the pond.
Yeah, it's a lot closer than coming all the way to the States. And that's why everybody in Europe usually speaks several different languages, because you go like an hour in any direction and you're in a different country almost. So
yeah, but meanwhile, any
here we just
Europeans
have
listening is going to
accents.
write us an angry letter saying it's not like that at all, dude.
Yeah, dude.
or bloke.
if it isn't, right?
Hey,
so
Rocky.
that's going to be.
Yeah.
Can you transport me down there real quick?
Transport you down there?
Or over there?
Over there? Over there.
Instead of down there?
Just beam you.
Yeah.
Would you like to get beamed?
Can we?
Right now, before
We're
we
doing the show. Heather, we're on the show right now.
without even asking permission.
Oh,
yeah. You don't need permission from the captain or anything. He wouldn't get upset over that sort of thing. Why
right.
True crew members decide to go to a convention during the show and not invite him.
Hey, Captain, you want to go?
Computer, open Heather Ferris's personnel file, please.
Oh, no.
Update entry.
Don't overwrite the wrong thing.
Yes. For disobeying orders, make this a temporary file subject.
Another one?
You need to have to talk to her.
At least
you collecting these like candy.
I know. Okay. That's the fourth one this week.
Hey, at least he's not revoking your hot dog filter privilege.
Thank God for that.
I mean, what would you sit on otherwise?
Oh, I do not sit and spin. Thank you.
Oh, we're in rare form today.
Do you know that used to be a club that I went to in the 90s in LA? Sit and Spin. Yeah.
That is so funny.
I met my boyfriend Richard there.
Oh, cool.
I saw when I was on a tour in San Francisco, I saw a place called the Squat and Gobble. And I laughed my ass off for the longest.
That's wonderful.
No comment on that one, Patrick?
Gobble, gobble.
Oh, my God. Let's go on to Rocky. What do you got for us news-wise?
Oh, looking at the news, of course, the motion picture director's edition, the 4K version, is out in theaters for a little bit longer. So when we release the show, there's a little bit of a delay. So it's still out until about the midweek. So you've got about that much time to go get your tickets and go watch it, the special presentation, in the big, huge screen. If not, you could watch it at home on your little screen, which is puny and tiny. And I mean, we all like our little screens at home. But anyway.
Like Nathan's weenie.
But it was cool. Somebody put an article on TrekMovie.com, the 12 most fascinating updates for the 4K Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Edition. They actually listed a whole bunch of these updates visually that you may or may not realize are completely redone parts of the motion picture. Of course, the one that stood out to me right at the beginning was the credit sequence. They redid the color. The original sequence from the 70s version, well, I guess the original version, the credits were white, just plain white text. And, in thinking of, movies from that era, plain white text is normal, but they actually wanted it gold. And this version has a special pretty gold version of the credits. They really bling nicely. But that's just the credits. They've got pictures of Vulcan, space stations and explosions, and even the background when Kirk and Spock and McCoy are having a scene. They do all kinds of little enhancements to the movie. It's just amazing to see all this work they did to spice up the film and correct it the way they wanted to correct it. So that's out there on TrekMovie.com, and they say there's a Google folder with 100 more images in it. So that's not all of them. They only put 12 on there.
And I really like the fact that they're doing that, and they're not doing it like George Lucas did, where he totally changed scenery and changed things in the film rather than just re-enhancing it.
I mean, there are some things that are different, honestly, but it feels a lot more subtle compared to the Star Wars updates that we had seen.
Yeah, like Star Wars.
I saw it in the theater, and I was like, I don't remember that. Okay.
What I found when they showed it to us at the convention, the soundtrack, the dialogue was extra super clear sounding to what I remember. And that was kind of cool.
It was nice and clear. It was.
I still want the red alert sound effects from the 70s, though. I thought those are kind of cool and scary and different.
Well, we can always add them to our podcast.
Oh, yeah. That's a tempting offer.
I'm sure we could think of something to add them to.
No, you've given Rocky a mission.
Oh, and just a side piece of news that no one even brought up, though. Star Trek Las Vegas, which is not called Star Trek Las Vegas anymore. It's the 56-year mission. They do have 100 guests now.
Oh, yeah, they're pumping up their guest list. They've not stopped. So if you ever think that maybe because they've lost the license, they've kind of dropped off a little bit. No, they got the same people, the same sets of wonderful names coming and interesting.
Ron Pearlman's going to be there.
Yeah.
Like the Viceroy from Nemesis.
It's just amazing. The cast that they have coming. If you want to see cast members, it's going to be a good convention to go to.
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy. He's just a phenomenal actor. I really, really enjoy all of his work. The only thing I'm disappointed in Ron Pearlman is that the way Hollywood is, he's not good looking enough to be a leading man.
He's not good looking?
They never have him as a leading man.
I thought he was a fox.
I thought he was good looking too.
Yeah, but Hollywood just won't give him leading man status.
Hollywood has no say on who's good looking or not. They really have no clue.
I agree.
No.
I agree. They have horrible
do.
taste.
Look what they did. The only way he was leading man is they put him as Hellboy.
I love that.
Or Beast.
All the other movies, yeah, he was great. Or a Beast.
He was fantastic
He
at
is
those
a phenomenal
roles.
actor.
He's really good.
I mean, Sons of Anarchy.
He's just got the
Sons of Anarchy
he's
was
got the
awesome.
kind of caveman forehead and the big nose and the very wide mouth with big lips. It's not traditionally considered attractive.
He has a unique look, and a unique look is attractive. And if you don't believe me, oh my God, what is that actor's name? Now that's really going to bug me. I'm thinking of an actor, and everyone would think he's ugly, but I think he's really handsome.
What movie has he been in?
He was
You're talking about Shatner?
Do you remember that TV show that was on HBO where they took away the alcohol during the time where alcohol was illegal?
Prohibition.
Buscemi.
Buscemi.
You're talking Boardwalk Empire. Buscemi.
Yes, Boardwalk Empire. Thank you. And he looks ugly, but
you
God
have the
damn
hot
it.
for Steve Buscemi?
Yes, he's fucking
wow.
hot.
He's very distinctive.
He is.
And distinctive is hot.
Yeah, he's another good actor.
He's also got personality. I mean, honestly, it's more about personality than looks. I mean, he's got fucking personality.
That's what they tell you.
That's what they tell me a lot of that. A lot of that. You mean it's not true?
The thing that bugs me about Hollywood is all of the women have that same look where they're blonde and they have the same face. And it's like you see the same woman 50 times and you think it's the same woman, but they all look the same.
You know, it's interesting.
Like, that's
I see
annoying.
women that are cast in roles that are not leading roles. And I'm like, their co-stars from the leading ladies, the co-stars are actually hotter, because they're, yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
I beg to differ because Sheree Agudashlu is stunning, and she's
who says she wasn't?
Yeah, but she's not blonde.
That actress from Handmaid's Tale too. She's gorgeous. Elizabeth Moss.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ann Dowd.
Well, yeah.
No.
But Elizabeth Moss is gorgeous too, and she doesn't look like normal women.
Yeah, she was actually really good in Invisible Man, the remake.
But neither does Nathan, so.
Nicely done. Okay, thank you for that clue.
We just went on a rant.
He looks like Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
which blows my mind to this day. That's awesome.
I get that all the time. And it's like, well, now he's on the Young Rock. All right.
Ooh, Captain Ndoye is going to be at 56-year mission.
Who?
From Star Trek Discovery.
Oh.
Ndoye.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to have to take a bunch of pictures for the podcast and everything while we're down there. I did get permission from Starfleet that we can go as long as we stay in uniform and act like we're cosplaying. So we can go.
There's a lot of those there. There's a lot of people at the conventions that just go there. Yeah. You think they're cosplaying, but they're actually from Starfleet.
Yeah. And a lot of times we turn around and they say, who made that prop for you? It's so realistic. And I just make up a name. So that works. Okay. Unfortunately, by the time you guys hear this, the event would be already happening. The science and science fiction of Star Trek's Tricorder, they're giving a panel down over in San Diego, California this Saturday at approximately 2 p.m. So you have to have museum admission and the seating is limited. And they're going to have a whole bunch of people down there. The son of the great bird of the galaxy will be there, which is Rod Roddenberry. They're going to have a bunch of people like Dr. Eric, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name, Viirre. They have a Dr. Yvonne Gagel, Dr. Paul Jacobs.
A lot of actual doctors.
Yeah, and they're all, including Roddenberry. I don't know if you guys went to the Star Trek in Vegas, they had an XCOM thing where they gave a prize to whoever can make a tricorder. They was going to give them a lot of money for it. These are the guys
the X
behind
Prize.
that.
Yeah, no. Yep. The X Prize is a cool thing. This is a thing where they give people a reward for achieving something that hasn't been done yet. So like there was an X Prize for making a spacecraft that could launch and come back, not from NASA, but completely separate. And they made the X Prize to do that. They set an X Prize to where you can go to the moon and back. So whoever gets that first will get this reward of the X Prize. So this is actually a real thing. And it's not always to the moon and back. It's also other items. And one of them is a medical tricorder.
A tricorder. Yeah. So they're going to be a whole panel about that. And of course, for those of you who don't follow the show, and if you do, I started my career in Starfleet as a science officer. Both my first officer and I, we were both in science officer. And They tapped us for command, unlike they usually do, where they tap people from engineering for command. But so it's going to be interesting.
Nobody's tapped me yet.
Yeah, there's going to be, they
Rocky,
did,
you haven't been tapped yet?
No, nobody's been tapping me.
No,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
you've been
that's
tapped.
why you woke up, bent over the railing with your pants down.
I'm telling you, the Gorn did not bend me over.
Oh, that must have hurt.
I'm going to have to.
If you do it right.
That the
Even
thing came in for you to
if you
get
use the right
promoted.
things.
The Gordoners, they feed on, but anyway.
I was being selfish.
With the teeth. With the teeth.
Did not want you to leave the ship.
God.
So that didn't happen. The thing came in for you to get promoted to command, and I kind of
You typed over it by accident? Yeah, you typed over it by accident.
I didn't want to lose my engineer, who's the best in Starfleet. So sorry about that.
One of the few with an O'Brien award.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't we get to the actual show?
I was getting ready to try to do that.
But did you finish up with your X Prize thing? Is that all the details?
I did. I was just going to say that I was going to get the report next week. But then my whole crew from Playing Dead today is decided to just go off on tangents left and right. So let's get started with the recap. Yes. All of you.
Not us.
Yes.
Who's doing the recap?
Oh, yeah, that's me. Okay, I guess I should get started.
We don't talk about Heather. No. We don't talk about Heather.
Okay, so this week we watched Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1, Episode 4, Memento Mori. It first aired May 26, 2022. Teaser. Surprise! It's Memorial Day as everyone remembers those who were lost in the line of duty by wearing a special pin that once cosplayers saw, they immediately started replicating. Meanwhile, Enterprise is en route to deliver supplies to a colony planet. But when they arrive, the welcome wagon is a no-show, causing Enterprise to investigate. A landing party transports down to the planet and finds it deserted. No life signs, no dead bodies, just blood. During that side mission, the Enterprise discovers a ship full of injured but alive human beings that escaped the carnage. However, they cannot be transported due to what this ship is made of. Time to deploy the transport tube. As La'an and Una are helping the injured people across the bridge, a little girl runs by screaming about monsters. La'an stops her and asks her to describe the monsters, and she replies that they make strange clicking sounds. La'an immediately calls the bridge and tells the captain, but she's too late. A small Gorn ship appears out of nowhere and fires on the bridge, with Una and La'an still on it.
Bum, 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 bum. And I think it's actually called Starfleet Remembrance Day.
No, Memorial Day.
It's Memorial Day
good.
themed, though. I mean, that's coming up on, probably will release on Memorial Day. But just a moment for those who have served and those who did not make it back. Can we get like a moment?
Yeah.
Moment.
And thank you for those who have served, who are still with us.
Shout out to the SS Puget Sound, Washington. Woo, woo, woo.
There is one thing I need to say before we get into the show, because this is a pet peeve of mine. Don't ever tell somebody Happy Memorial Day. It is never a happy day. It's a day to sit in silent contemplation and gather with friends and family or hear about the sacrifices that people in the military have made that are no longer alive. You can tell Happy Veterans Day. You can say Happy Labor Day, but do not ever say Happy Memorial Day. It is just like you going up to somebody and says, hey, this is the anniversary of your mom's death. Congratulations. Yeah,
It's not, you got to
like
remember.
Happy Funeral Day.
And that's an interesting thing, because I don't think I blame my public schooling, because they did not, brain this in me. I mean, it was like, I think I said it once to somebody, and it was like, oh, no, you're doing that wrong. I'm like, what? Oh, I had no idea. And for some reason, it was just like, you got to think about it. Wait a minute. What is this day all about? And it's definitely not happy at all.
Yeah, when we were kids, it's everything is happy, happy birthday, happy New Year's, happy Easter, happy Friday. And then when you start saying happy Monday or happy Memorial Day, people look at you funny. People
don't
look at
even wish
you
me
funny.
a happy Monday. For Christ's sake, what the hell's wrong with you people?
Right.
Yeah, but you can see when Leon looks at the Puget Sound badge, which, as you stated in your preamble thing there's going to be a lot of people wearing that. There's going to be all kinds of people going to fabricate it and get it out on Etsy. But you can see how she just didn't want to remember it.
Well, she doesn't like to look
the
back.
Badge and
that plays an interesting role in this story because, painful times. I don't like to look back on painful times. It's funny. Everyone you're like, oh yeah, high school years, they were great. And I'm like, what was so special about my high school? Nothing. I don't like looking back at high school. I like looking forward. College was what I like to look back on. That was way better. So it's the same sort of thing. She had some bad times in the past, and it's not worth looking back at those and remembering because, quite frankly, they very much traumatized her.
I think that's exactly it. I think she was so traumatized that looking back would re-traumatize her, or at least get her fight and flight response up, and she was trying not to do that. If anyone who is out there who has been traumatized before, they know that certain dates can be very traumatic. For example, let's say Father's Day, if you had something horrible with your father and then Father's Day comes up, that day is very triggering for you. So it's like that's one of those days you don't look at social media, you don't go out, you don't talk to people, you just,
But the sales, there's so many good sales for dads and grads out. And
it's not worth it. But I think that's what they were trying to portray with her.
Yeah, she's like, it's like people who don't like Christmas will go bah humbug. This was kind of her equivalence to Remembrance Day, bah humbug.
Yeah, hence why she didn't put the pin on.
Yeah, she's not ready to remember. That's some painful things.
No.
Well, when your family gets used as an incubation sacks and dinner for the Gorn, it's kind of hard to
it's not cool,
process
man.
that.
And you watched the whole thing, not just cool. Like it happened. Like you watched the whole thing. Yeah.
I did like how Hemmer was trying to one up Uhura, and she's like, "No, bitch, I got you."
Yeah, that was funny.
It's like, cadets, they never study or memorize the handbook or anything. And then she just goes off.
She just reads him from chapter to verse.
Like, oh, you mean the AP 350? Let me tell you about the AP 350. And quite honestly, I mean, the AP 350 was everybody wanted an AP 450 and they came out with the 350. So, yeah. The APs never got that much better until they came out with the 4000. Now that was an atmospheric processor, but the 350,
Didn't they use that on LV-426?
You want to talk about atmospheric processing?
No.
Or maybe, did they beam down in this part of the episode? Yes, they did, right?
And
yeah.
And plus that planet was just a rock. There was no indigenous life.
Yeah, they did. They beam down and they're walking around and it's quiet. And the only thing you didn't hear was...
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away? Ma'am, I told you it was not indigenous. It was a derelict spacecraft. Sorry.
Did anybody hear the motion tracker in that episode? when they're walking around and there's nobody here. It's like there was a skirmish. And I swear I could have heard the motion tracker going off. But it was the wrong franchise.
It was from Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Alien.
The dog bark, though, that was a classic horror movie, Although
that was the thing.
The big kerchunk sound, but they had a dog barking too. So it was like, oh man, that was pretty funny. And then the guy's like, "That's not funny, man."
It ain't funny, man. It's not funny.
He probably shit his pants. That's not funny.
The actor Anson
Bishop, come on,
Mount.
man.
The actor Anson Mount said that this was his favorite episode of season 1.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. It's so good.
I really have to say this episode, I'm not going to jump ahead, but this episode so far of the season has been my favorite as well, because they had science, they had things to solve. It was all the traditional Star Trek stuff from the original series, but dialed up to 11.
It was good stuff.
Really
Even the very first shot of the Enterprise, of course, I'm a nut for some of these effect shots, but they approach the Enterprise from the rear, and I love it when you can approach from the rear. I love when you approach from the rear. Oh my God, that was the best angle. And then they spun around the top, and then it blended into the pin. That was some good
Rocky,
good stuff.
Get some towels, clean yourself up.
We need to get that shot and then just put this on. I like big butts and I cannot lie right over it. That'd be good.
Yeah, but did you notice that the one thing that they did throughout this episode, we never actually saw the Gorn?
That kind of upset me. I was upset about that.
I mean, I wish we had seen them, but at the same time, it was very...
I'm pretty sure if you actually froze a frame and was able to enhance and zoom, you might see a little Gorn looking out the window as that little ship is spinning around like crazy.
You mean as it imploded?
Yeah.
We're jumping ahead.
We can't talk about implosion yet. It's too early to implode.
We're jumping ahead.
Don't implode too early.
We have MC Hemmer is talking to Uhura. And so it was a nice little setup to see everyone's emotional state of mind, even when Pike is asking why she's not wearing the badge on there when everyone else. So it was good. And you see everybody wearing the badge, and you can see that Leon dares to be different.
It's not Leon.
Dares to be different. She's not wearing it. Oh, thank you. See, that's why you're here for corrections. Okay, Heather, next one.
Aye, Captain.
What happened? Did I stun you?
I was playing dead again. I was hoping that maybe you would ask Patrick to do it, but Okay.
Patrick, go ahead with the recap.
Yes, we're ready, Patrick.
Okay, so briefly after seeing an image of her brother Manu in her mind's eye.
Wow. He took right in. We got a backup.
Holy cow.
Don't test him, man. He's ready.
Okay.
Yeah, him there would love you.
Act 1, bombs away. Shit has officially hit the fan, but the good news is Una and Luann are still alive.
Luann.
Thank you. The little girl and her mother, however, perished. Captain Pike is trying to keep more people from dying as the ship is still under attack from the Gorn. Pike orders Hemmer and Uhura to get the warp core engine back online and the bridge crew to do evasive maneuvers. But Luann and... You're going to just have to keep,
You have to remember, Luann is related to Khan. So if you remember Kurt going, Khan! Just think that when you say Luann!
Okay, I don't think I'll ever mess it up ever again.
That's the key. That's the mnemonic right there. I was like, Luann!
Okay. But Luann enters and tells them to retreat. It's a trap. It's the Gorn. Pike orders them to fly into the brown dwarf gas giant, even though Spock reminds him that the pressure will crush them to death. Basically, it was a, don't do the thing. I'm doing the thing. They turn off anything electrical and limp into the gas giant while taking fire. Enterprise takes a direct hit to the main cargo bay where Hemmer and Uhura are located. A large piece of debris crushes Hemmer's hands, and the two are blocked from leaving. Uhura has to do Hemmer's job as he walks her through it. Meanwhile, medical is swamped and all of the medical supplies are destroyed in the attack. Una arrives and immediately collapses. She has several large gashes that is bleeding profusely, and she needs to be sewn up the old-fashioned way, with stitches. Good thing Nurse Chapel likes archaeological medicine. Back on the bridge, Pike is trying to figure out how to beat the Gorn spaceship that is attacking them when Luann suggests literally dropping a bomb on them, since firing a torpedo may spark a fire causing a chain reaction. Not a problem, since Spock got creative and turned their ship's compass into a radar. The bridge crew finds the Gorn ship and drops the torpedo on it, obliterating it. Just then, 3 more signals appear on the radar. 1 large mothership and 2 small baby ships have joined the fight.
This time, I really enjoyed it because it was just like the show I used to love to watch when I was younger. It was submarine warfare. It was called Run Silent, Run Deep. It is about a sub that's trying to escape a destroyer dropping depth charges on them. And that whole scene, I really love the science on this because, again, I was just so happy about that.
Yeah.
Because they went old school. I mean, they turned around and did something. And
I love it too, man, because I grew up watching movies like that. Hunt for Red October was probably my generation's version of the same thing. But Run Silent, Run Deep is also one classic movie. And these are also classic books. So if you're like, the book was better kind of person, they are both great, wonderful books to read too. Submarine warfare and starship warfare have so many similarities that if you get off on one, you're going to get off on the other. And this episode channels that. And in fact, the guy that was on the Ready Room afterward, I believe was the writer. Was he the writer of the show?
Yep.
Yeah. He directly called out both of those movies as influences.
Terror was another one.
Yeah, Balance of Terror, the original series, same thing, influenced by submarine warfare movies. And it's just some thrilling stuff. You're trapped in the starship and you got an opponent that you can't just beat by flat out beating. You got to outsmart him. And you're fucking limited on your options. I mean, the one option that was given to Pike was like, Spock said, this is not an option. And Pike is like, well, let's see. I'm going to go with the one that's not an option. Let's go fly into the cloud over there. That's it. Don't do the thing. We're doing the thing because that's the only other thing we can do right now.
Yeah, and I love the fact there's always happens to be a nebula nearby when anybody needs it. So
very convenient.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
But
they're like 7-Elevens. There's a nebula every corner.
Like one of the things that I had was in a thing that I'm writing is that I had wrote myself into a corner where the protagonist was in a ship surrounded by cloaked ships. And I'm like, well, how the hell is he going to get out of this? And then I thought about it and it's like, well, anything that has mass has gravity. If it has gravity, then the gravimetric sensors should pick it up. Well, then take the gravimetric sensors and overlay it on tactical. Then you can see everybody. So when they did that, it just gave me the tingles when he did that. And then they turned it into a radar.
I could hear that from my house.
You know,
I think that's cool. I mean, Pike challenged everyone to be creative, and there's Spock with, he said to be creative. Here's my solution. This is awesome. We can track the Gorn in a place we can't track anything. That's great.
It really was. And then when they turn around and they decide to, just open a door and drop the Photon torpedo.
Now there's some math involved in that, and I'm going to challenge that one because how much mass does the Starship Enterprise have versus how much mass the Gorn ship has? I don't know if the torpedo is just going to kind of like decide to fall out of the tube just like that. I think I have a question with that.
I thought about that when I was watching it, and
I think we needed to put some crew there with a big spring or something to spring that sucker out.
They know that they know where the gravity is basically pulling objects in from the black hole.
The black hole's in the background. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they're turning around and they're like, well, let's go ahead and wait until the ship is kind of, if we drop anything, the pull of the gravitational pull of the black hole is going to bring that object right down on top of them. So, and I think that's what they were doing.
Plus, remember when Pike said, tilt the ship at, a certain degrees and make sure you're this much up. So technically they did have it in there that they were like calculating that.
He was aiming, you got to get the right angle. But I'm like, how do you get the torpedo out of the tube without any power? I mean, I'm sure you got to be like a bunch of people in spacesuits crammed into the tiny little torpedo tube, pushing that thing and telling it when to pop the clutch.
You didn't see that person out.
Remember your breathing. Push.
You didn't see that guy with the plunger in the back part of the Photon torpedo that just kind of like shoved it.
I was blown away by all that bling on the torpedo. That sucker looked like it was at a Tron.
Yeah.
It was very blingy.
They had a rave. They interrupted the rave.
They did have a rave going. We see that later. Yeah, the Gorn do have a rave.
But I mean, I was after the little Gorn ship was blown up, and then we get the others coming in. I'm like, damn, them Gorn are smart. Like that's some fucking tactical shit.
No, they just hungry.
Which was really kind of wild because, like, damn it, we want dessert, and that ship looks like this, got a lot of tasty people on it.
I mean, survival of the fittest is the way the Gorn are feeling. So they're like, they just got blown up. That must be where the food is. Let's go get the food.
And then Pike's face when he realized that they sacrificed the ship just to find us. Mm-hmm. It's like all of a sudden he got impressed and upset at the same time. And Anson Mount does such a great job conveying emotion like that. You could just see he was like ticked.
When Ortega said, "Oh yeah, let's fly into the big death trap of blah 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 blah," the look he gives her, he's like,
I know, that's
bitch.
funny.
I was cracking up with that.
You just need to shut the fuck up.
There were some great moments there. Full impulse to the giant black cloud of death. Okay, sir.
The Gorn reminded me a little bit of a movie. You've probably seen this, Rocky. It's the Zulus. I don't remember the exact
Shaka
name
Zulu?
of it, but it was about not that one. But it was based on him. It was about the British people who were trapped and they were surrounded by the Zulus, and they're trying to figure a way out of it. And they had all the Zulus were standing around the encampment, and the British people were firing at it. And one of the guys was like, "How stupid is that? Why is he letting all these men get shot?" And the officer looked at him and goes, "He's not stupid. He's counting how many guns we have and how long it takes to reload." And I thought it was like, wow. And that's basically what the Gorn did. The board is like, yeah, send out a sacrifice. Let's see what they got.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting tactics from the opposite point of view inside a starship that doesn't have any power.
If you ever think math is not important, that's a good reason why math is important.
There you go.
This is when you use that math they teach you in school that they tell you that you're never going to use.
Right?
Can we talk about interface design? Because the AP350, I'm going to be bitching about this the entire show. That motherfucker's cooling system goes offline because it's a fucking piece of shit. Honestly, this is the worst AP unit you can get. But the 350's design, the interface requires two-handed multi-tablet interface. That's the most ridiculous touchscreen interface I've ever seen in my life, and Uhura's got to figure it out. Now she's really good and she could figure it out, but it's not easy for her. And it's like the AP450 had the interface redesigned. Why didn't they spring for the 450? Those cheap bastards.
It hadn't come out yet.
I think our engineer was triggered.
I think so. And you have Hemmer. He's got his hands like the claw, not the fun way. He's got his hands damaged like the Hemmer.
Yeah, what's an engineer's tools?
Like the claw. Yeah, but he does by feel.
When you masturbate too much.
Well, that can happen.
Can you imagine how bad that's going to be for the next? And he has to wait for sickbay to get rebuilt eventually. So his hand is crushed and he can't whack a doodle.
But he did a good job in teaching,
depending on
Uhura. He did a good job teaching Uhura how to go by touch because he's so used to doing by touch.
This is
you feel that, and she's like, "Ow, that's hot."
Wrong.
He goes, "Yeah,
don't do that.
That's what you do. Don't do that.
Don't touch the hot one."
And Uhura's like, "No, your finger does not go there."
That was such a frustrating thing for people who do tech support. I can only imagine, because you guys do a little tech support. Ugh. How frustrating is this trying to guide Uhura through this when, one, you're blind and your hand's crushed and you're dealing with a newbie. She's very good, but she's still a fucking newbie, and you got to talk it through this really stupidly designed interface to get the thing. I'm just like, I'm feeling so bad for Hemmer right now.
I had one of those yesterday where the user was calling in because she wanted files copied over from her existing laptop to her new Mac, and the original Mac was like 14 years old and had files from like 2007. I'm like, you're signed into iCloud, so really all you gotta do is sign into iCloud on the new one, and then they'll copy over. And she's like,
I still don't know why you're interested in archaeological technology, Patrick.
It reminds him of happier days.
It's not that I'm interested in it. It's just that these morons have it.
Yeah, they couldn't spring for the AP450, so he gets to deal with the 350.
Makes sense.
Same problem.
Makes
They couldn't.
sense.
I mean, come on. Who's running an old Mac from 2007? I mean, they still work, but you're not using it day to day, are you? Nope. Somebody's still keeping all their files on it.
Someone's still using it day to day.
2022 now, and they still haven't copied their fucking files over. What's wrong with these people?
So during all of this, they had to turn off the electricity, and the doctor said that everything was offline. And I was thinking, does that include the transporter with his daughter in it? What happened to his daughter during this?
It's got a separate power feed from the warp drive.
Yeah, don't you remember? Yep. Una gave him a separate power feed directly from the warp drive.
It has a backup system, but how long is that going to last? Hopefully long enough for them to get the power restored.
Well, I hope that includes the generator.
Yeah, it was there. No, if it wasn't, you would have heard him make the same sound he did when he was in Dune. So,
what I thought was really cool though was when they were operating on Una and saying, "Oh well, you need plasma because you're going to lose a lot of blood," and then that other crewman needed plasma, and Una's like, "Give it to her." And she's like, she was doing what you do in command, is you look out for the people below you first.
Yeah, the people underneath it. The same thing. Active duty. When the chow truck comes, you make sure all your men eat before you do. If there's anything left, then you got it. If not,
unless you're like super hungry, right?
Yeah. No, even then, you try not to. But I also like how Pike showed his empathy for his crew, because he went to Leon Lacan. And you saw how he was concerned.
Well, I
love
like,
how you holding up.
I love that scene because he is incredibly concerned. He's always concerned for the well-being of his crew. That's a good captain right there. And,
well, that's what they talk about. He talks about that in the very beginning scene.
Yeah, he does. But
what Remembrance Day is all about.
But he also is talking about in this instance, because he knows she has trauma with the Gorn. And he knows that he can see that she's got things she's dealing with, but she's not like emoting about it. And normally this would drive people a little bit crazy. I mean, you could see Ortegas is a little bit razzled by this whole thing, but Luan is as solid as a rock, right? But he says, you've got to believe in a crew that will give you miracles. You've got to have hope. And if you have belief in your crew that will give you, the hope thing, they might just give you a miracle. I love that whole mentality. And it comes right from the positive attitude that Pike has doing this whole thing. He has a lot of faith in his crew, and later we see in his ship.
Yeah, even in the line that Memory Alpha even saw fit to record, because it was a great line. It's like the best miracles are born from truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's also a good one.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that entire scene, really I'm like, give that one a ribbon, because that one's a good one.
And then you have MC Hemmer is explaining to her what you just said, Rocky, that the best tools an engineer has is his hands and his mind, but he's unable to even use any of his fingers.
And some idiot designed the interface to have two hands and not have a one-hand backup. It's the 450 has all the solutions, and they went with the 350. Some idiot went with the penny pincher, went with the 350. What the hell?
I mean, sounds like an engineering design flaw to me.
Right?
Yeah. And it was right there. But at least she's game to try to fix it. So that was good.
There was a lot of like little crew interactions that they gave you more information about each of the characters in this episode.
Oh, big time.
I really love that. Really, again, this episode just gave me the tingles.
And you see, when it all comes down to it, it's like teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. It's working together.
Speaking about working together, Heather, next scene.
Aye, Captain. Act 2. Slowly chipping away. With nowhere to go, Enterprise dives deeper into the gas giant, going so far in that the pressure crushes the Enterprise and wipes out their lower decks. Pike had to make a tough decision.
Not the lower decks.
Oh,
I know, right? Puff had to make a tough decision to close off that section, which resulted in a crew member's death. One of the small Gorn ships continues to follow them as they dive down, and the pressure gets so intense the Gorn ship ends up imploding. No time to celebrate, as now they have a new problem. The gas giant is being sucked into a nearby black hole, taking the Enterprise with it, and they still have two Gorn ships after them. Luan and Spock suggest taking a shuttle out. I was trying.
You said after the last time you would never get it wrong again. And you did.
And this is why we have number one on the ship.
Well, she was right. She didn't get it wrong in the last section.
She had it wrong in this section.
La'an and Spock suggest taking a shuttle out to deal with the smaller Gorn ship. It's a suicide mission, but Pike reluctantly agrees.
And they find out that the Gorn speak with flashing lights and clicks.
It's a Gorn rave.
This was really kind of wild, because you have the ship and it showed sacrifice where the crew members going out and the injured one just pushes the other person out to make it.
The scene with Kyle, he got saved at the last second.
That was so
whoever that dude was, what a crew member, man. It's one of those things when you see it reported later on the bridge, we lost somebody when Deck 22 went down. You see Pike's reaction when he knows he lost a crew member. Yep. We've seen that before, but it's another thing when you just see the scene before when it happened. We saw it actually happen. Usually you see, we lost we've got a casualty on Deck 22. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Mm-hmm. But when you actually see it happen, there was some heroicism. I mean, Kyle is a major character. He runs that transporter. We may not have had Kyle if it wasn't for this unnamed crew member that just pushed him out. Also, he was running for his life and he tripped. I hate it when they trip on a flat Starfleet deck. What the hell?
Well, and you notice, I mean, the doors are almost closed and you see him get sucked out. I mean,
it was that close.
that was like
it was literally the
intense.
last fraction of a second.
Intense.
It really, again, you show the strength of Anson Mount as an actor to display that loss like that right off the bat. He lost somebody, but he had to do it.
And they touch on it, you know, that moment. He even talks with Spock, you know, he had to do what he had to do, and, you know, sacrifice and all that. But Spock spells it out and keeps him, you know, right. He keeps him straight. You know, a captain could freak out over something like that and really get lost in the moment, but he's got to be a captain right now. Yeah.
And then you have Uhura is like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard the ship make that noise.
Oh, God.
And MC Hemmer is like, just concentrate on what you're doing, because his sensors is picking up that they're in a world of shit. So,
yeah. Everything's falling apart and we're getting crushed. The ship doesn't normally make those sounds, does it? No, it does not make those sounds.
It's got gas.
This is bad. This is really, really bad. You're not supposed to hear your starship buckle in space.
It's got gas. You know, it's something it ate.
It's funny. And if you read these submarine books again, just to touch on these, that's one of those things where if they take somebody down in a submarine and they've never been in there before, and to watch the characters react to, you know, why is that leaking? Is there supposed to be water down here? Is it supposed to make that sound? What's actually the crush depth of this ship? Because nobody talks about the actual crush depth. That's classified. How does the captain know how far they can push it? And
he's just
in the
push
starship,
it real good.
Captain Pike is just
push it real good.
Yeah. Captain Pike is literally, the quote is, "I believe in the Enterprise." Yeah, but what's the crush depth, sir? How much pressure could the sucker? I believe, if I believe, you believe, we all believe, and then we'll make it. That's a great positive attitude is really, really, you know, important in this kind of instance, right?
Weeb it.
I want to add a rant to your rant.
Yes.
So I understand why the Gorn ship kind of imploded versus the Enterprise not, imploding, because the Enterprise is so much bigger and can take more than this small Gorn ship. And the small Gorn ship's so small that's why it imploded. Okay, now here's my rant. When La'an and Spock decided to take the small shuttle out, wouldn't that small shuttle have imploded because it was the same size or smaller than the Gorn ship?
The Gorn don't know how to build a fucking ship.
No, we have superior
technology,
structural integrity on the ship.
Did you see how fast their ship just folded inward when it actually crushed? It just like, you know, like a balloon. Like it just popped, you know.
It looks like it was on a special on Dr. Pimple Popper. It just
went
and it was gone. So I thought that was fun. And it's a lot smaller than the shuttlecraft, I would assume.
Also, I wonder how much structural integrity they have built into their ship as far as reinforcing it. Because, you know, on our starships, we can reinforce the structural integrity by diverting some power into it. I don't know how it technically works, and I'm an engineer. But
well, I mean, look at the shape of the Gorn ship. It
looks like it's designed to fold into itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense that it crumbled first.
Yeah.
But in space, there's no need to have anything aerodynamic, so it makes sense they would have whatever weird thing that it is to do it. Now, this is something also that the military will use when it comes to ship communication, which I thought was really cool. So I know they have to have somebody with prior service on there. Mm-hmm. When the Gorns were talking to each other in light, the most secure form of communication is through laser. So you have a laser going to the other ship, which has a receiver for that laser. There's no way that information can be tapped or anything else.
And it's point to point.
So they're actually talking to each other with light. Yeah, there's no way. So there's no transmission, no nothing. So I thought that was really cool that they showed that.
Well, they were kind of blinking earlier, weren't they? I don't remember what section. Well, I think it might be next section. Might be next section, actually.
I bow to my science officer, and I'll remove one bad comment from your personnel file.
No, it says they joined the light show right here. I've got it. It is a section.
Yeah. Okay, 2 against 2. I guess
then
we'll
I'll put that lightment back. But it was definitely interesting the way they do that.
Yeah.
And
I like that La'an was like, Spock, I need you to mind fuck me. I mean, mind meld me.
I mean, we're all here in this little tiny shuttlecraft, nothing to do but hang out and not get caught by the Gorn.
And get fingered by a Vulcan.
Face fingered.
Did anybody see the other guest star that was on here, which I really liked?
Your mom?
No, she wasn't on this week. The Galileo.
Oh, yes. That was a good mention.
Galileo.
Galileo. Figaro.
Yeah, we had that happen before, didn't we?
So that was pretty cool. I guess
it's a legendary ship on its own. It's a shuttlecraft, but it's legendary, and it just hasn't become legendary yet. So literally, they peeled the sticker off the side window on that thing and flew it out into space. It's pretty new still, right?
It was big. As soon as they go out, yeah, it still had the stuff on it and the sensor pod.
It had that new shuttle smell.
Yeah. And so they go out and they fly right into the next section.
But yeah, they do the little light show. They join in on it. I think because she had that huge flashback during the mind meld. That was, and the coolest thing about that, their brother, and he had the decoder ring, the magic decoder ring. I mean, it was in form of paper.
Mind meld is the next section.
Really?
Should we go to the next section?
To fly to the next.
Okay,
you didn't
I'll
get
just
my
shut up.
earlier prompt when I said, and they flew into the next section.
You know what happened is this in 3 acts or 4 acts? Because I only got 3.
4 acts.
Yeah,
It's in 4
see, I'm
acts.
missing an act somewhere. Where's the break at?
So go ahead, Heather.
Act 3. The mind meld is addicting. Spock and Leanne fly out. Whatever. I will get this eventually.
If your track record's anything to go by, no, you won't.
Oh, you're such a bitch. Spock and Luann. Fuck it. Just fuck it. Just screw it.
Luann is not even close.
Miss Noonien Singh, if you're nasty.
Both of them fly out to where the 2 Gorn ships are, and they stealthily observe their behavior. They are communicating via blinking lights, but Leanne can't remember what that means. Spock does a Vulcan mind meld, and we find out that those blinking lights are similar to Morse code. Luann has a great idea to send the Gorn mothership a message by blinking lights. The humans have taken over the ship. Leann knows that Gorn do not tolerate weakness and would rather kill their own than deal with that shit. And she's right. 3 down, 1 to go.
I thought that was just awesome. I mean, the magical decoder ring version of the Gorn language, I thought that was great. They just had it written out right there. Somebody has been passing this little notebook around in this Gorn feeding ground planet nursery. It just blows my mind that the humans have one of these books lying around. And what a valuable thing to have remembered in your head to the fact that if a Vulcan mind melded with you, they could translate that sucker and punch it into the keypad on the shuttlecraft and give them the secret code to say, destroy me. I think that was just wonderful.
Yeah.
What a hack.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But yet you still had that big Papa ship waiting to do. They got rid of all the tiny, annoying mosquito Gorn ships, but that big one looked really, 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 really bad. And then was it this part when the explosion happened and Pike didn't know whether or not if they were going to make it back? That's the next section. Okay.
It's all the next section now.
It's always the next
completely
section.
Lost.
But at least MC Hammer had Uhura finish, taking care of the bane to Chief's existence, the AP-350.
It's like, all right, you've deactivated the AP-350. Now we can get to work. I'm like, now?
Yeah. But you see, right after he concentrated on what he needs to do, he's like, ship is safe. I'm checking out. And Uhura's like, no, don't keep talking to me. He's like, I'm done. My hands are fucked and I'm tired. Finished. So I thought that was pretty wild,
Yeah.
But she was able to do it. So I thought that was nice.
Back on the mind meld, I was also, aside from getting the magical decoder ring information, I thought it was cool they had that little therapeutic session because there was a huge chance that this is going to bring to surface a really lot of fucked up shit inside Luann's head. And those memories she's been trying to suppress this entire time are what we need to find out to survive. And she's willing to go through a fucking mind meld to find this shit out. But it's going to be very traumatic to her. It also can be very therapeutic to her. But also, we have to remember that it's also on the side of the Vulcan side. There's 2 people to a mind meld. So he also gives some stuff of his trauma.
I love how when Spock did the mind meld, he consented. Like while inside, he's like, do you want to stop? Is this okay if we keep going? I'm like, oh, he actually consented. And I agree with you about how it went both ways. I like how he got some information about Michael and what happened with him and how he lost his sister. I thought the whole thing was done so well.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It was because she looks at him and goes, there is a sister.
Wrong show. Wrong franchise.
Sorry. I just thought that was cool. She got it. And he's like, I can't talk to you about it. And she was like, okay, cool. I get that.
We don't talk about Michael.
So yeah, we don't talk about Michael. No.
We don't talk about Enar botanist either.
No,
but you don't have to talk about him being into botany. But I thought they were having really cool bonding moments, though. I loved Uhura and Hemmer, the two most unlikeliest people to get together, and of all things, save the day with a 350, an AP 350. What the fuck? But they get together, this completely ridiculous combination, and it works for them. That's cool. And
it's not like they had a good first impression of each other, too. So I like that they were paired up together.
Yeah.
And it turns out, I guess maybe it's in the next section. Somebody gets impressed.
Yeah. Next section.
Yeah. Act 4. The cost of exploration. Pike has 3 serious problems to deal with. The Gorn mothership is still hunting them. Enterprise is falling into a black hole. And Hemmer just called and said the warp core is going to explode. What to do?
It was the AP350. It wasn't the warp core.
Oh, well, something was about to explode. No, because the AP350, that's the air conditioner, right? That's the air filter?
Yeah, that they're going to throw out.
Atmospheric processor.
Yes.
But Pike sent them down to fix the warp core, so that's different. They were just talking about a different...
No, they were trying to do that. They were still dealing with... They never fixed the warp core. They're still dealing with this AP350. This is why I hate this fucking thing.
Okay, anyway, something's about to explode. Ortego swears that space just wants them dead, which gives Pike a bright idea. What if we play dead? Pike orders Spock to find a way to use the black hole's gravity to slingshot them away from the black hole and the Gorn spaceship. At the same time, they drop the malfunctioning whatever it is, causing a mass explosion, making the Gorn think that they are dead, allowing Enterprise to escape. After all is said and done, 9 people have perished after this.
That part where they told them to suit up and buckle in, and they find some sort of plating on the floor for them to hook up the seatbelts to Hemner and Uhura. And then they shoot the AP-350 out the back, and looks like those restraining things would look like they was going to break because they're holding on and everything. And then once it's out, they slingshot, the Gorn ship leaves, and Pike's like, hello, you guys down there. Hello. And they're not answering. And
it takes them a second to turn it off a speakerphone to get the Bluetooth going.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, they're not there. And you can see the loss that he thinks he loses Hemner, and Uhura hits him. And then Uhura comes back. Yeah, we're alive, psych. But again, the look on his face when he realizes they're still alive, you can see the relief just takes the wind out of him. Yeah. He just kind of doubles over and holds on, and he looks up and he's like, finally, some good news for a change.
He was literally ordering their recovery crew when she piped in. I mean, that's how fucked up, the timing was. This is another, I think, a technology problem, because you ever answer your phone and the fucking Bluetooth is either on or off, and you're trying to talk into somebody and they can't hear you because the other thing's turned on, or you can't hear them. Yeah. It's like so frustrating.
Happened last week. I have a Bluetooth speaker in my knapsack that has a button that turns on, and I'm trying to talk to somebody and it keeps fading in and out because the Bluetooth would get active. And then I'm talking, hello, and I can't hear them. Then it's like, okay, so I turn off the Bluetooth, go to the regular. Then all of a sudden, because I was carrying the bag, the Bluetooth speaker turns itself off, it turns it back on. It's like, I got to go into the bag and turn this off because it kept switching and they kept going, can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's like, oh, dog it. So
yeah, it's very frustrating. So he didn't hit. So meanwhile, your captain is thinking you've died and is ordering your recovery crew. And you're like, no, wait, I'm here. We're fine. Hello, is this thing working? If it wasn't the AP350, it's a fucking Bluetooth on a spacesuit, right?
You're surfing the gravitational redshift.
It's something.
Yeah, but now we call it the Pike Maneuver.
Yeah, that was kind of nice.
Yeah. Again, it's just like they dumped out the trash, just like in a lot of submarine movies. Put the body in there, put the debris in there,
and set a bomb in it. And the trash, that's a maneuver that's been done before.
And then put it up to the surface. And also the same thing that the Romulan ship did. And Balance of Terror.
And it's in one of the sub movies too. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed almost every section of this, you know.
I loved we had the big speech time. So it's one thing when you get a pep talk from the captain in the beginning of the show. It's now the final act, and it's the moment of truth, and he's giving you the "we do not back down, we do not give into fear" moment. That was beautifully written and wonderful to hear in a time, over the last couple of years, there has been fear, and hear this bravery. It's cool. It's very cool. That's why Captain Pike's a great captain.
It is about sacrifice and the willingness to sacrifice in dealing with trauma. Yeah. And plus all the technical stuff that we love. Yeah. I mean, it was great. And then Una, she knows that she's going to bleed out and there's nothing to do. And she wakes up and find out that she's tethered to the doctor as a blood bag.
I love that. That if you blinked, you missed this moment because it was very quick. They didn't talk about it. They don't talk about that either. They don't talk about Una. But she's tethered right to the doctor right there. That's where she got her transfusion from. So it's like if all else fails, the doctor's like, wait, I've got some plasma right here. That's great.
Yeah, that was the look that they gave each other. It's like, you helped me with my daughter. I got you.
Yeah. That was awesome.
It's a good thing she wasn't a bigot.
Yeah, right? Oh, you're bleeding out. Sorry. Wait, we've got Band-Aids over here. Nope, she's bleeding out.
Too bad, so sad.
This whole thing, I thought it was nice because the most scariest thing is something you don't see. And the fact that we never see the Gorn, I'm okay with that. And I know that eventually we will see them, but it just adds a level of fear because they don't know.
I love that. That's classic movie making. They did a lot of those submarine movie things, but that was also a Jaws thing where you don't see the shark until
the very end.
And it's only because the shark effect was not that good. So like, let's not show this until it's really necessary.
Now, this felt like a movie to me, this episode.
Very much so.
It really felt like a movie. And just watching the after show with the AI wall, oh my God, it's difficult to ascertain what was a prop and what was the wall. Mm-hmm. The way they put it all together like a jigsaw puzzle, it's really, really good. Really good.
But the stuff with the black hole, of course, slingshotting around a black hole, that's mathematically possible. But that's cool on its own. But then they did the gravitational redshift. That was just wonderful space stuff right there. And and Pike again having, she'll hold, that immense faith in the starship. I love the man's got his back behind the starship because that's the only thing that's going to save him. I think that's wonderful.
If you keep holding this speed, she's going to fly apart. We'll fly her apart then.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they're here for.
Yeah.
But the other thing I just kind of flashed in just because it's the whole black hole thing. Was it Space Above and Beyond where the character went out listening to Johnny Cash into a black hole?
Yep. He's eating pancakes.
You guys want to watch a wonderful moment in black hole history, A Space Above and Beyond. I don't know what episode it is, but it's worth watch the whole series. It's worth it. Yeah. Good stuff.
Ray Butts.
I was going to say we just watched Nathan.
The guy's name was Ray Butts, and he was like this pilot. But yeah, he had a friend that went out fighting the Chig, and he decided he wanted to go out just like his buddy. Well, not like his buddy. He told his buddy that he would go with Johnny Cash. And you're right. And the way they did it when he was going to head to the black hole, he's playing Johnny Cash. I think it was Ring of Fire.
Yeah, and it was going off into the infinites of time. So time slowed down infinitely, and they dragged the stretch the moment in the song to infinity. I was just fucking cool. I'm nerding out over that.
It really was cool. So, and how the crew...
Every time I get a good black hole moment in the show, I remember that moment too.
It was done. Space and Buffy Beyond was such an awesome show. And the way they remembered him at the funeral, because his catchphrase was always, "This is easy as eating pancakes." And at the end of the show, in order to honor his sacrifice, they shot a whole bunch of pancakes into the space.
That's right. That was a cool shot.
It really was.
Sadly, Space Above and Beyond is not on any streaming service.
What?
No, but I have them all because I have been lucky to meet two of the principal actors on that show and become semi-friends with them. So it was amazing, that show.
Can you find it on Google Movies? Because I know that if I can't find it on any of the streaming services, if I go to Google Movies, I can usually either rent or buy it there.
If not, there's probably a torrent or two out there because that was good sci-fi. Well,
I have this app called Real Good, and it tells you put in what streaming services you have, and it will tell you if the movie that you're looking for is on any of them. And it says Space Above and Beyond is not on any of the ones that I have, and I have most of them.
Well, somebody's missing the point on that one. They got to get that shit back out there because it's a good show.
Next time we go out to Vegas, I'll bring the things with me so you can at least see some of them. It's really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot, and it dealt with racism and everything else. However, it looks like they do have it on Phobo and Sling TV. Those are the ones that they have it on.
Or you can just buy it on DVD from Amazon for like $27.
Oh, you can get it on DVD?
DVD.
Oh, you guys needed to rip a DVD? I can help you rip a DVD.
That's so old school.
It's like Heather was ripping DVDs in high school. I mean, come on.
You know what,
Yeah.
Pat? I think I have an extra copy because I bought a screen rip of it. So the quality is not 100%, but I can give that to you. And it looks like it's on Hulu. Why is it on Hulu, or did they lie?
I think they're lying because Mike would have told me.
You know, the other thing about Hulu is we found that our TiVo supports Hulu, but it doesn't support live Hulu. And that's fucked up.
Well, see, in here, I'm looking at this
because everyone's like saying Hulu does this, Hulu does that, and they were like, "Where is it? We can't watch it." My poor mother, who can barely, she's the one who taught me about computers in the first place, and now she can't even operate the TV, and my dad's no help. So my poor parents are trying to watch this thing on Hulu, and it's not coming through because it's not going through the live version because we're watching it on the TiVo. Well, if you put the TV app on Hulu, you could work with it there, and it works wonderfully. But how are you going to figure that out? I'm just like, problem with technology these days. It's like people who designed the AP350. What the fuck, man? Come on.
It's an air filter.
You really got a bone to pick about that AP350.
That fucking thing pissed me off so much on this episode. I love this episode. This is fucking great Star Trek. But that AP350 can go blow itself out the airlock. Oh, wait.
Air
That's what
filters
happened.
are not supposed to blow up.
Right?
It's an atmospheric processor. It's not an air filter.
It's a big fancy
an
air
air
filter. That's
filter.
all it is. It's a fancy air filter.
Yeah.
It's also atomic, right? Come on.
They lied. It's not on Hulu. But at any rate, I'll bring the extra set next time I see you, Pat.
Okay.
So this way you can see it. They had some really good episodes. Speaking about really good episodes, because let's get ready to tie this up. I'm curious here, and depending upon your answer, I may or may not correct your personnel entry. What did you think here, Heather?
I give this episode an 8.5. I marked it down by 0.5 because I wanted to see the Gorn, and I was mad that I didn't see the Gorn. We already know what the Gorn looks like. It's not like it's, surprising, but I wanted to see their new updated version of the Gorn, and I didn't see any Gorn. So.
I hope if we see the updated version of the Gorn, it looks exactly like the old one.
We're really
It moves
close.
exactly like the old one. That would be so fucking
With
awesome.
the sparkly eyes. I would love to hear it go slee slack, slee slack, slee slack.
And the translator comes on and goes, that would be so cool. I mean, they need to do that.
That would be cool.
I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Okay.
Because it was almost a perfect episode.
Yeah, I have to go along with that. How about you, Rock?
You know what? As much as I hate the AP350, I'm also a 9.5 because this fucking episode rocked so well. The things with Pike, the things with Una, and the things with Luan has been wonderful. And Uhura, even though she has to troubleshoot the most difficult fucking thing on the ship.
And she burnt her hands.
So yeah, somebody had his hands hurt. But yeah, no, this is a great episode. That submarine movie feel is a classic Star Trek thing. It goes all the way back to the original series, and I'm glad that they keep it.
Well, I'm going to have to give this a 0.75. Oh, wait, I forgot the 9. 9.75. It satisfied the science nerd in me. It satisfied the interpersonal communication. It was just the quality of the special effects, how they actually show the secretion of the black hole. It's just, I really enjoyed it. It really felt like a movie. And every time I see these young actors that are on this show are showing their skill. And I think it's just, they're phenomenal actors in the way they bring it up. And leading all those phenomenal actors, of course, is Ensign Mount. He's just, I'm extremely excited. And they showed death. They showed risk. So yeah, it was a good show. Do you know what next week's episode is going to be there? Number 1?
Spock Amok.
That's what it's called?
Oh, so that explains what the teaser they showed in the ready room. The teaser, they showed the next scene or one of the scenes from the next episode.
I don't get it.
It was very weird.
So what is he's horny twice?
I don't know. It's strange.
On how they do that.
He's got to fight with himself.
Yeah,
Spock has gone amok.
Going to be like
amok.
It's going to be like a thing on there. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting for next week. I think that's about it. thanks everyone for joining us on this week's episode. We had a lot of fun with this one. I hope you did too. I'm curious that anyone else out there that's listening to us also give it as high rating as we did. If you want to rant about it, you can do it when we are on YouTube. We have live discussion. Most of the crew will be there. Or you can send us an email at thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. That is thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Also, stand by because we're going to be having all kinds of fun stuff for you to order for the show. So we're going to have items. Yes, we will have items out there. And who knows, if you see us live and in person, we may even have swag, but we'll see. Thank you for joining us. And please remember, it is not a happy Memorial Day. It is a day for reflection. And if anybody tries to contact me on that Monday, I'll be in my bunk with rum and cokes, probably quite drunk. So don't come take advantage of me, Heather or Patrick.
Damn it.
I can come take advantage, though. That's okay, right? I'll be gentle.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if you'll fit in the quarters. So we'll see. Thank you. And it's the same thing with Heather. I know she did something because I woke up with some sort of foreign matter on me. And it's like, what's this? I don't see anything.
Who, me?
Where did this come from? It's not me. It's like the log says you're the only one in the room. The log is wrong.
Stop.
And see, right there.
I blame it on Dot.
I even heard you whisper, just let it happen. Okay. And then like 20 minutes later, this was a dream. You're a dream.
I thought you wouldn't remember that.
Yeah. So thanks, everyone. Make sure you just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.